Live Talks. We have here Sandhya Shivakumar, and we're just having a few conversations about gadgets and digital time and all of that. Today, we have an episode on gadgets, grades, and growing minds. Sandhya, what do you think is the right age to start getting exposed to screens?
I would definitely say, based on, of course, research and being a mother myself, I think 3 to 4 years of age, you can wait until 3 to 4 years of age. Fundamentally, because one, there's something called video deficit effect, which is like below 2 years, where the learning cannot translate from screen to real time. The brain requires person-to-person interaction. So if you're thinking, I'm just going to turn on this ABCD, or I'm going to turn on some language-related videos, which my child will be using to learn how to speak, that's not happening, because they use mirror neurons to mimic your mouth movements.
Correct.
So you'll notice that a lot of the way they spell, they pronounce a word, and the tongue movement, everything, they cannot say certain syllables and things like that if they've learned the word from the TV. You can see that difference. That's one thing. Second thing is the executive functions, all that attention, regulation, reasoning, all of that. So, of course, it's actually not fully developed for a very long time, but in the early years, the first 3 to 4 years, really set the stage for what's after. So once you notice in other activities, which is like, okay, you're playing, now can you say bye to these toys, we're going to go do something else and stuff. So if you find their transitions fairly smooth, of course they'll have some tantrums here and there, but that could be a good indication for you to say, can I introduce right now? If they're able to say that this is what I need to do next, and they're fairly cooperative, then you won. Like you can start introducing. And also introduce it with boundaries.
Makes sense.
So if it's like, I would imagine not to go all in and say you can use a tab, a phone, a TV, everything, laptop, everything. Like how when we grew up, there was only TV. You want to watch something to come back home and watch.
Correct.
So you're not depriving the child technically.
But impulse control also happens.
Exactly. So you're training that part of the brain to say, I'm going to wait. Until I can get home. And watch. So I think factoring in these things by about three and a half, 4, and really like they don't need TV time or anything because they're bored. Like they're so creative, they can come up with their own stuff. And you'll see that
only if we don't have the screen time. But moving on to like older kids, little older kids, do you think digital learning helps or hinders growth?
I definitely think it helps to a great extent.
Depending on what it is, right?
Depending on what it is, absolutely. Because see, when you say AI and all that right now, you can type whatever you want. As long as you know language, you just type in, it'll give you the answer. That's very scary.
Correct. It is scary.
There's no mind of your own. So you have to write a story, you write something you have to make up and submit in school. I'm sure every teacher is struggling, to figure out if the child is written or
AI has written.
Exactly.
Absolutely.
So I think using responsibly, and kind of knowing when and why. For that, you have to be cautious. But other than that, it does help in a good way. Because they're capable of picking up so much information that it's really nice to read and know different things, and you're not stuck in one place. Global exposure is there, all of that. Although to accompany this, I would say parents need to get involved. Like you can't.
I was just going to get to that actually. What do you think parents can actually do to create this balance? Because I've seen parents in schools who make a fuss about phone usage, and they say no phones, and inevitably those are the kids who actually end up using a lot of phone. And then you have parents who don't really think too much about it, and they actually don't use too much phones. So how do you think they can actually create this balance? Because strictly no phone usage or a complete phone usage won't really work, won't help. So how do you think they can
It
great.
is definitely about balance, like you said, where you have those boundaries about the time, the place you use,
Yeah.
how much you use, frequency, and for what purpose.
Yeah.
If you're going to do a video call, you're going to talk to a friend and things like that, or I'm going to quickly look up what this means. If I were the parent, if the child was in the teens or something, I would just buy a dictionary.
Correct.
I wouldn't let them Google.
Yeah.
But again, Google is easier.
Yeah.
But I would let them know that this is available. It's something you can do. So letting them choose depending on the context.
Yeah.
You can be flexible, but you can't be permissive.
Makes sense. Yeah. Yeah.
That's something, and definitely you don't want to be behind in terms of the
In all
learning of-
technicality, they have to make the choice, isn't
Absolutely.
it? Like,
Yeah,
be
yeah.
given the choice of both things.
Yeah.
That's what you're saying,
Yeah,
right?
and of course, it's not like how do I say when you're given laptops and iPads. I think many parents think of it also as a matter of pride that schools are getting digitalized.
Yeah.
But
Yeah.
I think it's just a matter of knowing how to operate
Yeah.
tech, which they will pick up in no time.
Exactly.
So don't like kid
Rush in.
yourself. Yeah, and say
Yeah.
that my kid knows how to use it. They
Yeah.
will know. It's very easy.
Inevitably, yeah, that's true.
Absolutely.
True.
So I think the balance element comes from mainly also the attitude of the parent towards what is the role of tech in my life, let's say, and that's something that will translate into what is the role of tech
In
into
the child's life. Yeah.
So
Yeah.
there are parents who will say, this is the topic, you think, you write,
Yeah.
I'll read it, and
Yeah.
then we'll sit on something together.
I think it also depends on branding things as right and wrong, isn't it? I feel like good and bad, right and wrong.
Yeah,
So
yeah.
everything is spoken in a very black and white manner.
Correct, yeah.
But then probably teaching children that there is a gray area, and most of our
Absolutely,
life we actually operate in the
that
gray
way,
area,
yeah.
and there's no complete, like, just because you use the phone, it doesn't make you a bad person.
Absolutely, yeah.
Because a lot of kids want to rebel by using the phones.
Yeah.
And I've seen it to be a more rebellious behavior than anything else,
Yeah. They want their say.
Why should I
Exactly.
listen to and the autonomy, obviously. So
Absolutely.
instead, if we can actually go about it the way you spoke about, wherein you give them two options, there is a choice, and they make a choice, inevitably, I feel like a lot of children end up picking up the dictionary because it's cooler.
Yeah, and it's more fun also. You get to
Yeah.
see other words
Yeah.
as well. But again, all of this boils down to how did they grow up?
Correct, exactly.
So I think it's
What's the narrative around it?
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
It's not you wake up at 14 and say, I don't want a gadget, but how
Yeah.
do you do that over a
Period of time.
Absolutely.
Yeah. Lovely. Okay. Thank you.
Thank you.